Thank you. I yield back.
Chair recognizes Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank Director Santos for taking time to be here today. Supporting children and families is one of our most deeply held American values. It is a reflection of our collective commitment to helping one another, particularly in times of need. To uphold this principle, accurate census data plays a critical role in ensuring vital federal resources are allocated where they are most needed. The Census Bureau work directly impacts effectiveness of programs families rely on every day. Programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the WIC program, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, known as TANF, provide critical lifelines ensuring parents can put food on the table and care for their children. Meanwhile, the National School Lunch Program helps eliminate hunger as a barrier to learning, giving children the opportunity to focus on their education instead of their next meal. Without accurate census data, these programs cannot be funded or distributed equitably, risking the well-being of millions of families. This data ensures no child or family is left behind, and our shared resources are directed toward building a stronger, more compassionate nation. Director Santos, can you explain how population data collected by the Census Bureau, including during the decennial census, is relied upon by the federal government in carrying out programs like SNAP, WIC, TANF, and the National School Lunch Program?
Certainly, and thank you for the question. The information captured in the decennial census feeds into how we conduct all of our other 130 surveys that are conducted pretty much every day of the year. We're out collecting information on behalf of the American public. That information ends up being used in pretty much most policy development and implementation, whether it's in transportation, whether it's in labor, in education, in natural disaster planning, in a whole variety of ways, not to mention business. The corporate world, the business world cannot, our economy cannot survive without accurate data from the Census Bureau that starts with a decennial census count and then feeds into the other programs.
Thank you. Each month, nearly 1.5 million Ohioans and over 150,000 people in my district receive SNAP benefits. And in 2022, Ohio received over $720 million in TANF funding. It is because of census data, every student who attends Cleveland Public Schools is afforded a free breakfast and lunch without the hassle of paperwork. To get these resources to people in Ohio, the federal government must accurately assess who is in need and where they live. So, Director Santos, would you agree having complete, accurate population and demographic data is essential in allowing policymakers to direct funding in a fair and equitable way?
I agree.
And Director Santos, what expertise does the Census Bureau rely on to collect population and demographic data?
We have expert scientists who access both administrative records, births, deaths, as well as other sources of federal data, as well as our massive data collection operation to conduct the surveys and the economic census and the census of governments and such. So we have this expansive ability to capture petabytes of information that are used to make society better.
Thank you. And given the role the Census Bureau plays in collecting this data, which is the foundation of programs so many families rely on, it is critical this work is guided by data, statistics, and expert analysis. It should not be fueled by politics. We do not and must not prioritize recipients or anything else based on political ideology. Yet, President-elect Trump's playbook for his second term, Project 2025, includes a section specifically on the Census Bureau, which calls for it to, quote, execute a conservative agenda, end quote. As we have heard here, this work is too important to be caught up in political games. This Project 2025 proposal is dangerous and threatens to hurt families across Ohio and the country. The Census Bureau must not be turned into an ideological and political arm of any agenda, and I am committing to ensuring that it does not. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Fry from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Santos, thank you for being here today. The Census Bureau is charged with a constitutional mandate that impacts every single American, ensuring fair representation in Congress and census results that allocate critical resources across